The Justice Department and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they are suing a developer and lender company for allegedly operating an illegal land sales scheme and taking advantage of Hispanic borrowers. Consumer investigator Carice Jackman gets reaction from the National Consumer Law Center and has tips that you need to know so you don't fall for predatory lending.
Colony Ridge, a Texas-based lender and developer, is currently being sued by two federal agencies accused of targeting Hispanic consumers and taking part in predatory lending.
The CFPB and the DOJ sued them for violating a range of mortgage law. But importantly, they sued under the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act for reverse redlining. And what basically the entire theory behind it was that Colony Ridge, as a lender, decided that their business would be to target Latinos in Texas because they assume that Latinos in Texas have limited access to credit.
The 45-page complaint alleges that Colony Ridge targeted Spanish-speaking borrowers by advertising exclusively in Spanish, using TikTok and other social media platforms to attract them, showcasing national flags from multiple Latin American countries and regional music. The complaint also claims the company sold unsuspecting families flood-prone land without water, sewer, and electrical infrastructure and set them up to fail with loans they can't afford.
That's essentially the message that this lawsuit is putting out into the world, that you cannot target a population that you consider to be vulnerable with expensive products that are built to fail.
Nicole Cabañas with the National Consumer Law Center, or NCLC, says she hears these types of alleged practices happen often to Hispanic communities and non-English speakers.
There's a certain kind of helplessness that comes from having these language barriers and having, just these other vulnerabilities. And then you're trying to build your life in this country. And then on top of it all, you're in a financial transaction that was honestly never meant to help you.
We reached out to Colony Ridge for comments. They told us in a statement they were blindsided by this lawsuit, calling it baseless, outrageous, and inflammatory. They added that their business thrives off customer referrals because landowners are happy and able to experience the American dream of owning property. They also stated that they're happy to loan to those who have no opportunity to get a loan from anyone else and are proud of the relationship they've developed with customers. Cabañas says in general, before doing any business when purchasing a home, be very wary when a lender is advertising that a loan would be easy to qualify for.
If there's no kind of analysis over whether you will qualify, I would just be very, very, very careful, because that's a sign that you're going to end up with very expensive credit with a lender that really just wants to make money off of the fact that you don't have credit.
She also says when you see marketing materials that are in a specific language, Google them and look at their website.
If they are only in Spanish language, or if they're only in Chinese or only in Vietnamese, that could be a sign that you're being targeted, that they're targeting your group.
Third, Cabañas says if a company is trying to rush you through the housing process without allowing you to ask questions or conduct your own inspections, beware.
They don't want you to read. They don't want you to understand what you're signing, and that's a red flag.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
And the NCLC says that they've been pushing financial regulators on a national level to require essential notice be translated in multiple languages. Now, Colony Ridge added that they look forward to telling the true story of Colony Ridge. Well, in our health news, the second round of flu activity is spreading across the country. According to the CDC, more than 16% of clinical lab samples tested positive for the flu for the week ending January 27th. That's up nearly 2% from the week before, and that half of Americans have not had a flu shot, which experts say could help prevent severe illness or even death.
Not enough people really took the vaccine, and I would hope that people have a belated New Year's resolution to this fall, when we get into September and October, to get that flu vaccine, because it does help keep you out of the hospital.
The CDC says at least 20 million Americans have gotten the flu since October. Well, coming up on our news at 4, parts of California are still in danger of mudslides after days of heavy rain. We'll show you some of the hardest hit places in just 2 minutes.